what I will do then is, for the majority of things, I'll send out via email. If I'm worried at all, then I will send it out as Teams. But as I say, if you can continue to email the lecturers, excuse me, I haven't been on the mead, I promise. If you can contact the lecturers via email, that would still be the preferred method, but that would be the best option. But as I say, we can dip in, and certainly if you go online and you see an email and I've got a little green splodge next to me, that means I'm online. So if you want to ping me on Teams, then that's fine. I would suggest you don't do it when I'm not online, because to be honest with you, Jess tried to call me this morning and I didn't have my Teams on because it was 8:30 and I was being cheeky. So if it's something that you know it's outside of working hours, which our working hours are still 8:30 to 5, then emails are better. But as I say, I'm quite happy if you can see I'm online, and the easiest way to do that is to go into your Office 365, and if I've got a green blob next to me, then it means I'm there, and if it's yellow, it means I was there 5 minutes ago. So if you want to Teams me then, that's absolutely fine. That's just for me. So obviously for the other lecturers, make sure you do emails. Tamsin asking, will they help with 365? Yes, they will. So as I say, anything to do with Office 365, access to your emails, access to your student logins, it's service desk. I'm just going to keep bombarding email addresses now. Anything to do with the library and also your Open Athens, because remember, obviously your Open Athens might be something you're going to be needing more of now you're off site. The best person to contact for that would be, so if I put it in right, will be the library. So that's the library email address. So if you get home and your Open Athens isn't working, say don't panic, mine wasn't working the other day. They can just reset it for you. Really, really straightforward. Juliet is again working from home, has been replying. She actually sent everyone an email today, which I don't know if you got sent it as well. So if you didn't, I'll do a little kind of update so you guys can have that as well, just with a few kind of library stuff. Obviously, as Caroline said, in terms of the library, I did raise it this morning because I can't remember who it was. Someone asked me yesterday about the library. I'm really sorry, I forgot who it was. But it's a completely legitimate question. It's just going to take the question to ask. So hopefully I'll let you know ASAP about that. It does mean you're going to have your fobs. So hopefully you've all got your fobs. But yeah, we will update that. Obviously, Caroline mentioned as well about the PVN assignment. It was bound to happen. We picked an assignment that we thought you guys were going to be stressed about, and actually, it maybe it was a case for we should have done PVN instead of AHID, but hey, hindsight's a wonderful thing. But again, leave it with us. We'll have a chat, see what the options are. So Lucy and Emily saying they don't have fobs. Again, leave that with me. I'll have a chat to see if there's any way that you can collect things. So obviously they need to be collected from the library team. Rachel's absolutely right. But again, under the circumstances, if the library is open, it may be possible that the fobs can be distributed from somewhere more centrally. But again, I'm not the person to give authorization for that. So again, leave it with me. I'll have a chat, see if there's any other way that we can get them to you, because obviously it makes sense if you're allowed access but you don't have fobs. That's something that we should be able to fix. But again, it's not something I can authorize. I don't get paid the big bucks to make those decisions. So what I thought we'd do, yeah, they're really quick, really, really quick. So Millie's right, it takes 2 minutes to sort out. So I'm hoping with that in mind that if you can sign a piece of paper at one place, you can sign a piece of paper at another. But as I say, I will need to find out if that is possible, because obviously I've got not the luxury, I'm finding it a bit weird, but the luxury of being at home. There are staff on site, but as Caroline said earlier, it is very much skeleton staff. You're not going to go, oh, Katie, disappointed. Katie said she's not going to travel three hours to go to the library. Well, disappointed there. No, I'm joking. But it does mean if you are local, then you obviously can access it. As Caroline mentioned, again, I can put some bits of reminders up. Remember, you've got the ebooks. There are a heck of a lot of books on there. Also, I've had a couple of emails about people, because you're all dutiful students. I have to say that I am very impressed with how, I know Caroline mentioned it, but I am incredibly proud of you all. if you have engage my brain. If you have existing loans that are due back and you're worried about them, don't worry, you won't be charged. Basically, what the library will have done is as soon as the lockdown came into effect, they'll put everything on automatic renewal system. It does mean, weirdly, that if you've had a book and lockdown is going on for, let's say, 6 months, I'm hoping it won't be, but it does mean that you don't have to worry. You just have to remember to take them back to the library afterwards, because I often get caught out with that. They give me automatic renewals and then I forget, and then I just keep them. I'm a book hoarder as it is, so that's not a good thing. But yeah, use ebooks. Yeah, I'm really hoping it's not 6 months, Natasha. I'm hoping that Bojo is correct and it will be February. As I said to you guys yesterday, the other thing that we are trying to kind of consider is, because you guys are special, because we have because we obviously are a accredited course, the suggestion as well is that maybe we will be back before everyone else, which, again, as soon as we know anything, I'll let you know, because that would be quite nice. Nice. Millie's just saying her children's school has said Easter. Yeah, I don't know, and I guess we said before, it's this we don't know, which, as we keep saying, is not happy. And we know you're special, Cara. Yeah, I'm special too. It's fine. I have a badge and everything. I'm joking. I'm being facetious now. Right, so let's concentrate. So let's go through some Mahara. So I know Mahara has been an area of stress. Obviously, I saw a lot of comments about potentially not using Mahara for PVN. Again, that's something I'll have to go back to have a chat with outside this meeting. But in the meantime, because basically what happened is I knew you had to have Mahara in. I was fully intending for it to be presented to you before Christmas, because I thought it'd be a nice little Christmas present there. And unfortunately, ILT have just been inundated. So I spoke to them beginning of this week and basically said, what are we going to do? We've got these assignments due. It's really stressful. Mahara is one of those things that everyone freaks out about because you don't normally use it. It's unlikely, unless you've been with us before, that you've ever even come across Mahara. It seems one of these kind of stupid softwares that we say use. It's really good, and absolutely, as a couple people said, you've prepped your work in Word, why can't it be submitted in Word? The honest answer is that the RCVS like you to have an ability to use a range of softwares. It's part of their initiatives for nurses, particularly, that we should be multi-ability, multi-trained, all this kind of stuff. And one of the big motivators is client education, that actually nurses that have the ability to use these softwares hopefully are more approachable and more accessible to clients. I'll leave you guys to decide if that is the case. But I understand that Mahara feels like a massive ball ache, and it seems really difficult, and it's just another thing to stress about when you guys are already covering so many other things. So what I've done, and hopefully this will make things much easier, is I basically spoke to IT, and they have made me, I'm very excited, they have made me templates. And when I mean templates, they have literally gone in, bless them. I gave them both the assignment briefs for PVN and for Practice Org. Industrial Experience is being done as well. But for PVN and Practice Org, basically what they have created for you is a model assignment. So I'm going to show you how to do it in a minute, but you basically can go through. Yeah, Tash, you do and you don't. So the learning outcomes are specific to each module. So that's the one thing that the RCVS are really pedantic about, is basically all of the modules have been mapped against the day one skills, day one competencies. And that's where the pedanticness comes from. But as I say, I'm fully prepared to have a chat with Caroline outside the meeting, as she said in the previous meeting, and we can see if there's any wriggle room. But I'm hoping, as I say, now that we've got these templates, it should just be a copy and paste job. And actually you can do, yeah, it's exactly, Tasha, you can absolutely copy and paste. So just something to reassure you, and I can't remember who it was, sorry, because I didn't actually kind of make a note. But somebody made the comment of, will we be marked down if our Mahara isn't to standard? The answer is, for these assignments, it's not that sophisticated. If you guys were doing a blog or a webinar or something that was really heavily focused on client education, so like the second years have been doing pharmacology resources, which I have to say again, they absolutely loved, then yes, it would come into effect. But with this one, it's more about seeing Mahara as a online portfolio rather than having it as something. So what I would do is I'll show you what I've got. Leave it with me for the end of the lesson to have a chat with Caroline. We'll see if there's any more wriggle room. As I say, I can't promise because, as I say, I don't have the rubber stamp. Unfortunately, I don't get paid the big bucks to make that decision. But let's go through what we've got. What you can do, if it helps, is I'm quite happy for you guys to have Mahara open and have a play as we talk. Obviously, one of the benefits of you guys being semi-online is that you can do that. And for those of you that are all sat together, yeah, no, I understand, Katie. I say leave it with me. I'll see what we can do. I say it's a conversation with other people. I'm afraid. I say I don't have the final authority to say yes or no, but I absolutely will take your opinions to the people that are, and we'll have a discussion. So yeah, so just to, you're fine, don't worry. So just to say that the PowerPoint for this is on Ledge. I've tried to make it kind of a how-to step-by-step so you can work through it. One of the other things, sorry, I've just unhelpfully just scratched myself. And one of the other things that ILT have done, which has been incredible, is they've produced a how-to guide that basically talks through step by step of how to use Mahara, and it's specific to us as nurses. So in the 24 hours, 48 hours from me finally speaking to them again and saying, guys, we need your help, they produce bespoke resources. So those are on Ledge for you. They're under our first year group tutorial bit that we've got. As I say, the PowerPoint's up as well. And I'm sorry, I didn't see who it was, but someone mentioned that you've done a little bit with Charlotte. Was today, or was that on Monday? When was that? Who can tell me? Today. Okay. So it's at a point where it's fresh, but it's possibly still in the kind of confuzzled, unsure what's going on stage. Okay, no problem. So first things first then. With Mahara, and this is one of the things that's really crucial, is you need to go through Ledge. Now, you can access Mahara online if you Google it. That's absolutely fine. Oh, okay. It's more of an introduction to it. I understand. Well, hopefully with this as well, then you'll be laughing. Maybe not laughing. Maybe we need that mead and gin and vodka and stuff that people have been talking about before, or a nice cup of tea. But first things first, make sure you go through Ledge, because what Ledge has is it's been set up to be authenticated for you guys as students. So Mahara is a licensed product. So you have to have a license to use it. And actually, if you go through from Google, which is possible, you won't have the same functionality that you can get as students. So make sure you go through. So just the normal Ledge dashboard. You've got the bottom. So where Student Portal is. You just want to click on Mahara, and that will take you through to everything else. So click on the nice purple button. And as I say, just a reminder, don't go through anything else. We want to use the Mahara link on your Ledge page. So that's the first thing just to say. Once you're in there, it will look like this. So it will know who you are. And as I say, it's all linked to your Ledge, which from a submission point of view is also really helpful because Mahara and Ledge communicate with each other. So when you upload your assignment, you don't really have to do very much for it to work. So they're all kind of work together. So you literally can just put your link into your submission and then it will communicate for you. So again, it's nice and straightforward, which is the other reason why we quite like it. So just a couple of things, because it's almost like Mahara is seen to, as I say, Mahara is seen to be a tricky customer. It kind of isn't once you get into it, but it is a bit daunting. It does link to Turnitin, Kerry. Yep, it's all done. So again, that's another joy for Ledge, is it all communicates with itself, with each other. Another reason why we like it, it just does it for you. So in some respects, once you've kind of mastered the beast, it's actually really user friendly. And you do get a report. Yeah. Yeah, you get all the same. So a couple of things just to direct you to. You've got the user guide, which is kind of a step-by-step, more of a written and picture format. The video tutorials are incredibly helpful, so you can actually go and watch those. I know we've got a lot of kinesthetic visual learners with us, so the video tutorials are really, really straightforward. And I know in the past when I've had to use Mahara, I literally have it open and do it step by step. So again, nice and slow, but it is really self-explanatory. And it's, as weird as it sounds, it is quite common sense actually when you get into it. But again, I realise it's this beast that we need to tame. The other thing that's quite nice, which I don't really feel you necessarily need to do for this assignment, because I say that the kind of reason why we're using Mahara as a platform is to create a portfolio. But later on, if you do want to get a little bit stylized with it and kind of make it look really pretty, then the example pages are also really good. But I think that's possibly something for another day. We can come back to that for your industrial experience, but that's also on there. So yeah, user guide, your video tutorials, wonderful. And then again, another little another email to put in your book or wherever you keep things, is the ILT team. So the ILT team. Oh, that's a good question, Ola. So the simple answer is you technically have to submit your work, but that's just because that's the link. But you can submit the work. How do I phrase this? So you can upload a copy of your assignment before you're ready to submit it, and it will give you a report. So the way that, whilst you have to physically upload it, what we do is it basically there's no limit on how many times you re-upload the assignment. So if you want to use Turnitin, the easiest thing to do is to submit your assignment as it is in the state that it's in. That will then generate a report. You can then take off your assignment, amend it, resubmit it, and as long as as long as you remember to upload the final copy that you're happy with by the deadline, then we don't have to be any the wiser. So you can basically just, yeah. Oh, okay. So we had that. Yeah. So yeah, exact same. So you just literally keep using it. And actually that's quite helpful because it then generates the full report. So you can see, because historically it would only give you a percentage score, which, you know, we teach you to be like, oh, well, the high numbers are a worry, but actually if it's the assignment brief, you couldn't see it before. So now you literally just upload it, try it, upload it again, try it. And as long as you've left yourself enough time, which again, I keep saying to you guys, you are incredibly diligent, it then gives you that. Yeah, you can take it off, you can play around with it, you can do whatever you want with it. As the only thing to bear in mind is that it will shut down obviously as soon as your submission has been uploaded and the deadline's finished. But leading up to that point, you can do whatever you want with it. Oh, that's all right, Amy, don't worry. So this is just for general assignments. You would submit it using Ledge. For Mahara, you still use Ledge, but instead of uploading a file, you just share the link with us. So it's even more straightforward, but it will, because Turnitin speaks with Mahara, it will generate a report in the same way. Oh, good question, Rachel. Will the score go up each time? It does, but equally it changes anyway, because one of the joys of Turnitin, because it's designed to look at everything, and you might have noticed this if you're, because I know some of you are incredibly proactive, there's not a procrastination bone in your body, and I would love to be like that because I'm a massive procrastinator. But sometimes what you find is that you might be the first person who puts their report up and you've put the assignment brief. But then as the last person puts theirs on, your score will increase. So the scores do jump around quite a lot anyway. And this is why it's really helpful if you actually go in and have a look at your reports, because that's what's going to highlight the sections that are a concern, rather than assuming that because you've got 65%, you've done it wrong, because they will kind of jump around a little bit, if that makes sense. So Lucy's asking, do we upload the brief as a file too, along with the assignment, and how do we upload it? So I would say for the assignment for this one, you basically there's three options. First option, you don't upload the assignment brief. As long as your number is on there, we are, and everyone's going to hate me for saying this, but we are quite capable of having an electronic copy of the assignment brief. Now, I realise that's not what we tell you, and I know I certainly find it much easier to have the assignment brief in front of me because I'm lazy, and if I've got 40 assignments to mark, having them one in front of me, it's just easier. But if you can't work it out, don't worry. The other option you have is you can actually upload it separately. So all of the submissions on Ledge are set up for multiple submissions. So you can actually upload your link and press save, and then upload. Thanks, Megan, Amy. But you can basically upload your assignment brief as a Word document and then upload the link separately. That's okay. It's absolutely fine, Ali. As I say, the preferences for lecturers is that you do that just out of courtesy because it makes our job much easier. But you the reality is that if you forget, we can't penalise you for it. So for this one particularly, if you don't, it's not the worst case scenario. So the second option, as I say, is to upload it as a separate file, which you can do through Ledge. So like you would normally when you upload documents. The third option, which we can go through in a minute, is you can actually upload it as a file onto your Mahara portfolio. And then it's there, and then we can just access it and download it. So that's kind of 3 options. So you guys are free to pick whichever one makes more sense to you, because that will make more sense, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's true, Millie. Yeah, so I've just seen Katie's question about flying starts. So yeah, flying starts were released about 6 weeks ago. Might be 5 weeks ago. So they're all on Ledge. So if you can't access it, Katie, give me a shout, because I'll have to try and find it back. We can work it through. But yeah, they've been up there for ages. So apologies if you haven't found them yet. But yeah, have a look. It's fine. But as I say, if you can't find them, Katie, then just shout. That's not a problem. So Kerry, they're linked to your submission. So again, I kind of stupidly assumed at the end of term that you guys were okay. But basically in your original submission, the link you use, if you go back into it now, it will have you'll have suddenly had new columns to the left, to the right of them, and that will have you'll have a grade in the box, and you'll have a file that goes with it. So that'll all be there. Tash is asking, will you be marked down if you don't submit the assignment? No. As I say, the assignment briefs, it's more out of courtesy for us. It makes our life easier, particularly because there's so many BNs, but you're not marked down for it. So if you forget, please don't panic. You can, if you need to, go up and reload it again, if that's helpful. If you are panicking, you can just upload it again, because then you've got multiple file submissions. But equally, if it's done, it's done. Don't stress about it. It's certainly not something to kind of lose sleep on. So that's the first thing. So you've got your Mahara. Use your resources. Oh, okay. Is your Ledge still not working, Amy? Because I've definitely uploaded yours, but I will go back and check it. It works now. Okay, it should have been uploaded. So again, I can go back through and have a look because I marked yours, so it should all be there. Oh, Emily, where was your? You might have well been missed. It's the problem is it bumps up with all the purple boxes. You don't know what Turnitin is. It's fine. So Turnitin is the sorry, Tash, don't worry. So Turnitin is basically the plagiarism reader. So it's absolutely fine if you don't know what it is, because it's basically linked automatically to all of your assignments. So historically, students would have to upload to Turnitin and upload to Turnitin and then upload separately onto Ledge, and now it all does the same thing together. So if you don't know what it is, it's fine. What it does mean though is that if you go back through all the academic skills lectures that we've got on Ledge, what it does do is it tells you how to use it as a tool, but from a submission point of view, you actually don't have to worry about it because it does it automatically. But it's a way that we go in and check your work to make sure that you haven't basically cheated, which, as I say, most, none of you are going to do that anyway. It always feels a little bit like Big Brother, but those are the academic regs that we have to follow. So that's first thing. So you found Mahara. I'm getting distracted now by all your pictures of wine. Oh, okay. It should have been uploaded, Millie. Yeah, definitely. But again, I will check that. I'll add it. What I'll do at the end of this lesson is I'll make a little list and I'll let you know by lunchtime tomorrow. Either way, just because I've got another meeting at 4:45. So, but I will check it all. But yeah, I'll add that to my list as well. So yeah, so these are all the tutorial. Oh, jump backstage. These are the videos, really helpful. Again, I think for PBN, just to reassure you, is it really doesn't have to be that sophisticated. But you've got that. I'm going to ignore the chat just 1 second, but I'm not ignoring you. I'm just going to turn it off a minute just because I'm getting distracted. But basically, you've got all of the videos. So as I say, for this particular assignment, for your PBN, just see it as a way of using folders. It doesn't have to be sophisticated. It doesn't have to look pretty. But there are other things that you might want to do. And Mahara's got quite a lot of functionality that you can use. Again, you've got the ILT support email. So ILT is basically for interactive learning technologies. So anything to do with how to use stuff, ILT are really helpful. So again, use the email, drop them a call. They are quite short-staffed at the moment. But the lady that's really lovely and really helpful is a lady called Heather, and she's the lady that's put all of this stuff together for you. So again, any questions, give her a shout. So when you get into Mahara, if we go back a stage, as I say, you can see you've got this is your home page, and down the side you've got the 3 kind of horizontal lines. So that's what you click on for giving yourself the functionality. So you basically click onto that and it then gives you these options. So to create your page, you basically just click create. Now, as I said before, what we've tried to do to make things simplistic, and actually it was Heather that suggested this, and she's a flipping genius because I actually think it's made your lives 10 times easier, is she's created basically templates for everything, and I'll show you in a minute what she's made you, because actually for every section of your PBN, for example, every section for your practice org, she's made sections and templates that are basically what you have to do. So there is a template at the moment for a section that's called sterilization methods. So it does mean that those of you that have already written stuff, you can just copy and paste it onto Mahara like for like. And those of you that aren't yet sure what to write, and there may well be some of you that half the panic is you haven't properly started assignments yet, then it again is going to give some guidance. So click on create, and then you can see you've got all these little tabs that come down. Now, apologies for the size, but the first one says pages and collections. So that's the one you want to click on. And basically what it will do is, normally you would go through this to make a new page, but as I say, we've made some templates. So when you go into it, if you click on the pages and collections page, and apologies if I'm going a bit quick, I say it's being recorded so you can go back through at your own pace, but basically I'll try and slow down a bit. But basically what you've got now is, because there are pages and collections, these are the equivalent to templates that people have already created. So what you guys want to be able to do is, using the search, you need to type in VNS, all capitals, and that will then generate a list. So yeah, you can either type FDSE, but that brings up other pages, or just do VNS, all capitals, and it will basically show you all of the templates that have been made for the assignment. So as I say, Heather's been incredibly lovely in the literally the last few days, and has made templates for the PBN assignment. I'll open the chat again now. No, Lydia, you won't be. Just seeing this. You won't be penalised. Thanks for replying, Mia. Yeah, no panic. And yes, Lucy, this PowerPoint is on Ledge, but what I will also do is I will download the meeting and put it on YouTube, because I think it's something that actually is going to be quite helpful to have for everybody. So you know how I've done the embedded YouTube videos, I'll do this for this one as well. Yeah, we could make Heather Prime Minister, although I don't think she'd want it. Oh no, I do have them, Amy, I promise you I do, because I made them earlier and they worked for me. I'll go back and check it. Oh, this face now, it's not happy, but I promise you I checked it earlier, so maybe just come off a minute, but they are definitely there. So you just search VNS. What I will check is that it's not got some funny security thing on it that we haven't realized, but it's all there anyway. It should be open access. But let me go back and speak to Heather for Prime Minister, and then we'll look that way. But they are there, and they should be open access to students, because this is what we've done before. So basically you can click in. So there's one for PVN, there's one for Practice Org. Obviously keep Practice Org on the back burner, but that's there. But the important thing is when you find them, and what I might do in a minute is share the screen with you to show you, is you need to click copy. So don't click add, because it will just add more pages. What you want to be able to do is use the pages that have been created. So you click copy, and that then generates a screen that looks like this, which, as you can see, practice. So what we've got: PVN, appraisal of 2 methods of sterilisation; PVN, presentation of SOP; PVN, principles of veterinary nursing; PVN, role of VN in barrier nursing; use of SOPs, and then you've got loads for Practice Org as well. So what you basically want to do is you can either click copy collection or copy page. It doesn't really make much difference, but what it will then do is it will allow you to use those templates basically to fill everything else in. One thing you need to make sure you do though is click copy, because it will let you go into the active form, but if you go into the active form and you don't press copy, then it will save whatever you do and it will mess up the template. So make sure you click copy, and as I say, I'll go back to Heather and ask her if there's any securities on there, but she assured me it should be fine. So I'm sure it's just a little kind of minion in the computer. So click copy. That'll then bring the template up, which will make it look like this. Oh, interesting. So you can only find it when you put FDSC, because I searched with, so Elisa's just said if you search FDSC it comes up, and I put VNs and it came up. So try both of them, but as I'll go back to it. Tamsin saying tried to add one this morning when I went to put my name in, it autofilled something about SOPs and barrier nursing. If that helps at all, that's okay. It's probably just recognizing. And Ali's tried both and it hasn't come up. Brilliant. I will go back to Heather, but as I say, be reassured that they are there. And what it does is it brings up this kind of page, which again, sorry for the size, I don't know if I can make this bigger now, but basically it just talks about some stuff that's already in there. But you can see this green bottom at the bottom, basically gives you editing rights, and the really clever thing with Mahara is it will basically, whatever you click to edit, now you've copied it, it's like your Office 365, so it will save it automatically, but it also means because you've made a copy, it's yours, so you can just do whatever you want with it, and not be worried that you're going to start messing up other people's. So yeah, so just, I personally would put your European number in this strip, just to start with, just because it makes it easier, and then you literally click on the green button, and it takes it through, and then it will give you this page. So what this then says, so basically what it's done is it's recognised the assignment that we've launched you, which Heather has put together as VN's practice organisation and PDP, and then what Heather's done is she's made pages that basically are all the sections that are linked to your assignment. So the top sheet is basically the front cover. You've then got a section on smart targets. You've got a section on the role of the vet nurse and the vet team. You've got a section on consulting nurse, and you've got a section on communication, which funnily enough are all of the points in your assignment. So what you can then do is you click, oh, let's go back a stage. Sorry, got too excited. You can click on one of these, whichever section you've done, and actually the fact that you've all done things on Word is actually what we recommend you to do with Mahara, because Mahara has a tendency of resaving itself, and sometimes, I know when I've used it before, it can be a bit chaotic. You don't have to a cover page, no, Cody, that's fine. But it's actually better for you to have done it on Word, because then you can copy and paste it, and it takes the fear off that, you know, you're midway typing and it refreshes. So I would always do it on Word first, and then you've got it. And not that you're going to lose your work. I don't want you to think that you're going to lose everything, but it just makes it easier to populate it because you've already got everything there, and then you're transferring it across, if that makes sense. And I'm going to show you another little shortcut as well in a minute. But basically what this has been set up as, if you clicked on one of those, so let's say we click on promoting the consulting nurse, it brings up a page that looks like this. So basically in this white box in the middle that says add comments, that's kind of your text box. So you've got a number of different functionalities in there. You can select the indent of the paragraph, so whether you want it to be a title, whether you want it to be a paragraph. There are some pre-formatted bits in there as well, so you can have like a large title, a medium title, a small title. You can make it paragraphs, you can put stuff in boxes so it's all nice and symmetrical. If you wanted to make columns, for example, you could do it that way, but equally you can just literally copy and paste from what you've already written and shove it in there. You've also got your bold italics, you've got bullet points, you've got, there's a little, this one I've got my mouse on, the little one that looks like a little picture, that's how you put images in. So there's lots of things you can do, and it's one of those things that when you get in it, it's actually really self-explanatory, but you kind of need to have a bit of a play. Oh. Yeah, so Georgia, that's true, but when what the assignment brief says is that it all has to be populated using Mahara. So you do all of these individual things, and then she wants you to put it on Mahara as a portfolio. So with that in mind, that leads on really well to the next bit of functionality that you need to know, which is this bit here, which is add file. So the other option you have for your assignments, because Mahara is the portfolio, what you could also do is literally put a title in and then upload things that you've already made. So if you've made tables, if you've made diagrams, if you've put things in Word and you've made it look, you know, what you want to do there, you can also very simply just add files. Now, for some of the assignments, when we're talking about kind of visual appearance, I would avoid against doing a lot of that because it makes it very boxy, and actually then it just makes it like a folder rather than anything pretty. But equally, if it's a case that you, like with your PDP one, where you've been asked to do PowerPoint Publisher and all the different tasks, you can basically just do sections and populate it that way. So I hope that kind of makes sense. But have a look back at the assignment, because the assignment definitely says using Mahara to populate, do these things. So your Mahara is becoming your like your filing system, basically. Yeah, no problem. So these are the, so for task 3, we had laid it out with photos. Can we just fast? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, the thing is with Mahara is the functionality will go as far as you want it to. I would just be a bit careful and read the assignment brief, because sometimes, again, I don't know because I didn't launch yours, but for example, for the second years with their pharmacology one, there was a comment on about kind of presentation, use of images, structure, those kind of things. So for them, I advised against just shoving files up because it doesn't look very pretty. But if the assignment doesn't say anything about making it look pretty, then you could literally do everything separately and upload it. So that also takes the emphasis off, and you literally just add it into the file. Yeah, the assignment brief that I've got, unless Sarah's changed it, but the one that I got off of SharePoint was using Mahara. But now I'm panicking that I've got the wrong one. But the most recent I had was Mahara. But whether Sarah might have changed it, and if she has, again, don't you guys panic. I'll be the one to go back and find out the answer. And then I'm just going to make you brownies all the time. We're just going to get fat on brownies for the rest of the year. Do we use Mahara for a lot of things? Lydia's asking. No, we try not to. But as I said before, the RCVS like you to be using a variety of different things. So yeah, so we use Mahara for practice org. You're going to use Mahara this time for industrial experience. But again, I've got a template that is in the process of being made that we will use together. And what I might do, Again, it all depends on COVID, but what we could do is we could always have some group tutorial where, oh, yeah, so that, yeah, so electronic portfolio. So that's the Mahara part. So the one I've got says using Mahara, but she might have taken out using Mahara. So I'll check with Sarah. But the PVM would be the same premise. So you've got a bit of time for practice all current use. So you can do the same thing with your PBN, as you can literally upload files, or you can change the functionality if you want to. Yeah, Lee's absolutely fine. As I say, you might want to put something in the box, maybe if it's just a title. Yeah, definitely, Mia. So Mia's just said, can you annotate pictures? Yes, you could upload folders on, upload pictures on here. You could put text around it. Kind of think of this white box as a text box. So that in itself becomes your Word document. And that's why Mahara is quite nice, because you can like link things. You could, again, sorry for the size of the image, but there's one here that looks like a paper clip, doesn't it? It looks like two little crab hands. But the little crab hand icon is for links. So basically any of these, if you click them, they'll come out with another box. And it's all Microsoft, so it's all pretty self-explanatory, obviously, if you're used to Microsoft. Is there something for recording audio? There is. You have to click on this tab. So I've just done the basic stuff, but there is more advanced functionality that you can use. But again, it is what you make it. So, you're not, if the assignment brief doesn't state that it wants all those things, you can make it very, very simple. Yes, Kerry, you can. I'll come back to that question in a minute. But basically, you can upload things. And Kirsty saying she might have to upload stuff rather than copy and paste it because of the Mac. You can also, if you want to, you could upload files, but you could also pop something in the box if you wanted to. So any kind of uploads or any images or supporting documents, or you could just put titles just to make it look a little bit more kind of clear so people know where things are. You could even be really cheeky and put a title and say a sentence of please see file below for blah 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 blah. So it is what you make it. And as I say, for majority of the first year assignments, you're not being critiqued on your ability to make it look pretty. So that is something to kind of reassure you a little bit. Kerry's asked the question, if we're not using Mahara, can we upload multiple files on Ledge? Yeah, you can. So as I say, to be honest with you, we probably shouldn't tell you this because you'll end up doing multiple folders. But you can upload up to 20 different files using the same Ledge submission. We all tend to just leave it. That's the default. So we all tend to just leave it. And certainly the second years, when I've had them to do care plans and stuff, they've uploaded several folders, which makes marking for me less fun because I have to jump around. But that's not your problem. I just put my big girl pants on and get on with it. So yeah, you can upload multiple folders, you can upload multiple files. So for Jess's, that will be really straightforward. You just treat it exactly the same. And as I say, with the Mahara side of things, the functionality that allows you to upload files does make things easier. But just be careful with the assignment brief that it doesn't say you'll be marked for structure and whatever else. The other thing with Microsoft Word, which is quite a good thing, is it does spelling and grammar. Mahara doesn't. So again, if you know that you, like myself, I'm dyslexic, my spelling is shocking. The word checker, spell checker is my best friend. If you are someone that struggles, again, do it in Word, copy it across. Means you're not going to get caught out on the spelling and the grammar. And you can basically just copy and paste it as you want to. Makes it nice and easy. And this is your white box. So again, have a play with this. We've done kind of sections. I haven't really put any titles in, so they're just sections, but at least it will bring some kind of structure to what you're doing. And as I say, you can upload multiple resources as file, and it is multiples. So again, if you had, I think what Mia was saying about annotated pictures, if you had those and you wanted to upload them separately, or if you can, thinking about Lucy's question, you can also upload audio files, and it converts it for you. Yes, so Lydia, this PowerPoint is on Ledge. What I'm going to do, once you guys finish as well, is I'll download it and make it into a YouTube video. It does take a little bit of time to convert. YouTube's doesn't like anything that's more than 5 seconds. So I might have to leave it to tick over this evening and upload it tomorrow. But I'm more than prepared to do that because it's something that you guys are going to come back to anyway. So we can put that, and I'll leave it on under all of the resources. So it's there, making sure it's visible on our first year ledge page. Cool.
Jo,
Any questions? Oh yeah.
Sorry. If I upload a photo, so for Denise's assignment, if I write a comment, will that stick with that picture?
Yeah. So
right.
It's
Sorry,
so that no, not at all. So that text box, basically, it will position it however you put it. So it kind of treats. So the only thing that is worth saying is with the image, you know how on Word you can choose how it aligns with the text. You can do the same on Mahara. So you do want to, if you want it to be attached to a particular image, then just make sure you click the alignment. But you can do it either like close alignment, left, right, all of that kind of stuff. And same with the citations, Amy. So you can basically put the citation in a title. And actually, I was going to do this next week, but we've still got some time. What was I going to say? In terms of figures and titles, because this came up in some in individual tutorials, that people weren't really confident how to do in-text citations with figures. So when we talk about images, and again, just to make things harder, you've got, I've just seen Tasha's comment. I will look into it for you, because I say I went on earlier and it worked fine for me. Now I was under the impression it was all public access. If it's not, then that's something that is a button press. So I'll email Heather after the lecture. We can do that. That's quite easy. But you can also create a page without a template. Yep. So you just click create rather than use a template. So if we let me answer Tasha's question and I'll come back to the citation. So in your original section, you had your little drop down bit and you clicked create. You can basically click that without clicking the others. So if you just want to have a go yourself without a template, then that's how you can do it. And Mia said she's done the same, which is great. So yeah, you can do that. We simply created the template just to save you guys time. But if you find it easier to just be a bit renegade and go off with it on yourself, then you can do that as well. It's just, there's lots of way around it. But Heather, bless her, said, why don't we do this? It might be easier. And I kind of went, oh, that's amazing. Let's run with it. But you don't have to. It's just there as an extra. So just before I forget, because and also it follows on with who was it? Amy's question about citations. So, and also say I've had a few people ask me in individual tutorials. So with images, you kind of, just to make things more complicated, in academia, you've got 2 types of images. Now I realise an image is an image, right? But it's not. So if you've got anything that is drawn or anything that is human made, meaning that it's generated on a computer, then at that point it's known as a figure, and you basically label your figures numerically, and it's first come first serve. So your first image will be figure 1, your second image will be figure 2. If it's a photograph, and I'll put this in we can put this in a PowerPoint for next week, but if it's a photograph, it's known as a plate. But the way you treat it is exactly the same. So let's say if it's Lucy, if it's a photograph, absolutely it's a plate. So how you would I'm just going to ignore Katie's comments because I think you're helping each other, which is great. I love it. So the way that you kind of make your title, the key thing with all of your citations and with all your titles to go with images is they need to be descriptive, and that's often what people get pulled down on. So if I was to, let's find, have I got a nice picture on here that I can share with you? What have I got? I think I've got some Betty pictures I can share. Pictures. Where are we? Pictures. Not as nice. Have I got a nice picture? Oh yeah, okay, I'm going to share this one with you. So if I put this picture in here, and this might not work now. I haven't done this before. Who put the pictures in before? Sticker. Attach file. Is that going to work? Upload from my computer. This might be working, guys. Every day's a school day. Right, picture. So we've got our nice little, all right, so let's do the Daxi puppy. Is that going to work? Oh, it's going to work. Yeah, I'll come on to that in a minute, Rachel, but yes, it does. So if is that going to work? Send. Okay, so this is my puppy. This is me, Holden said puppy. Obviously, that's what we do at work. So this is a plate because it's a photograph. So what I would do, he was very cute with his big ears. Yes, that's correct, Tamsin. You're absolutely right. So it's worked. So what you would do is this is plate 1, and let's call it adorable Dachshund puppy. And so you basically would just put whatever it is, and it's almost like catchphrase. You say what you see. But then what you need to do is give the source information. So on this one, because this is my own picture, I can literally write author's own, because it's my photo. So with your work experience assignment, for example, you might want to put pictures in, and if they're your own, you can just literally put the date. So I know that this picture was from 2017, and that would be my citation. But if it was someone else's, you'd still have the same. I can spell Dachshund. But instead of obviously having my name, you would have your citation as you would normally. And that will be the same for, so that would be how you kind of title or add your citations into your image. So if this was on Mahara, what I could do is I could put my picture in, and then you either put the citation at the top as a title or at the bottom. It doesn't make much difference. So that would become my title. And then the question about does it go into a different contents page? It does. So what you would then do is you'd have your contents as normal. Sorry, you'd have your reference, not content, well, yeah, both actually. So you have a new reference list and you have a new contents page. So your contents page, obviously you've got like section 1, 2, 3, 4 and the page numbers, and then immediately under that you then have list of figures, and you would then have your figures and again your page numbers. Now what's really clever if you do it on Word is you can actually put your automatic you don't have to put note source. No, so you literally just can put figure 1, whatever, figure 2. But you basically would create a contents page for your figures, and then some people will then put their figures as a separate reference list as well, which comes under your general source reference list. George has just asked a formatting question that I don't know the answer to, and whether it's italics. I need to check. I'm not sure what it is with APA 6th edition. Bad teacher, but I'll check and let you know. But yeah, it basically, the important thing with your titles is to make sure that it's descriptive. And if you forget for this one, if you forget for this one whether it's a plate or a figure, it doesn't matter, but just make sure that you've got oh, it's very cute. Yes, sorry, Cody. Yeah, so you basically have your contents page for all of your titles, and then you would have your contents page for your figures, and you just do it on first appearance, so figure 1, figure 2, plate 1, plate 2, whatever. And then if you're then when it comes to your reference list, some people will put a separate reference list for figures. So you'll have reference of figures and then again have it in numerical sequence. Some people will put it in. It doesn't really matter as long as you include the reference somewhere. If we're being pedantic, have separates, but as I say, you're not going to be marked down if you forget and put it all together. Jodie's just saying I get confused with what we have to put as a title. So just something descriptive. So you can it's almost, as I say, it's like catchphrase. You put what you see, and I would just put something that explains what the picture is. So obviously with the pup I'm being flippant, but you know, if it's, let's say if it's a a diagram of roles and responsibilities within the veterinary practice, then that would be your title. And then you basically just put the author behind it. So if it's your own, you can claim your own. Otherwise, you just open brackets, put the author, and put the date. If that's the website, because you haven't got an author, then that's fine. But again, what we can do next week is we'll do a lesson on this. We'll do a PowerPoint to go through it. So in your figure list, you put plates. Again, the pedantic amongst us would say you do separate lists, but you can just put list of figures or list of plates. It doesn't really matter. But if we were being really, really anal, you literally put list of figures, list of plates, and you do them in numerical order. If you want to be a bit pedantic. Oh, that's interesting. I need to check that, Tamsin, unless things have changed. But I say keep it simplistic a moment. I will go back and check through things. To be honest, I wasn't expected to do quite so much formatting with you guys. I just thought it was an off chance. So I'll do some resources for you for next week, and we can go through it in a bit more detail, just so that we've got there. So Cody's saying, so picture and normal references are separate. Yes, they are. Normally they are. And then Ola saying she put them all together. As I say, I think with the presentation, whether you put them all together or you put separate, I think that very much comes down to personal choice. Yeah, of course, Cody. Which is why I'm saying if you're pedantic, this is this. But the main thing is that you have a descriptive title when you present where the source is from. But as I say, why don't we? That's a little bit of starting point. Why don't we bench it for? Oh. Okay, Tamsin's just showing. I need to look at that myself. But why don't we put this on hold? And what we can do is spend some time next week in group tutorial and go through some stuff. Equally, I've got a bit, as weird as it sounds, I've got a little bit more free time. So because the second years are in exams next week, so I can always put together some resources at the beginning of the week and just pop them up. But we can certainly go through it again together in group tutorial next week. Whilst we're on it, is there anything else particular that people want to go through? Kind of any referencing, formatting stuff? Do you want a recap on referencing? Do you want a recap on the difference between essays and reports? Do you want a recap on how to approach an assignment? Is there anything that you guys want to do? I'll leave that with you. Have a think about it. Let me know. Kerry wants to do referencing. Okay. I've had a few kind of murmurs from people about referencing. So yeah, we can do that. So why don't we do that next week then? So we'll do some recap on referencing. I honestly don't know, Rachel. I need to ask the question. We need to have a conversation. As I say, it's not my position to say one way or the other. But we can, so next week, let's do a general recap then. So assignment layouts, referencing, we can go back to how do you do pictures. Yeah, I can do some real life ones. That's fine. So we'll do that. We'll have a recap of academic skills next week. You guys can bring your appropriate beverages. I'll leave that up to you what you want to bring. Next week, we'll just do an hour. So we'll do some resources. And I say I'll try and populate some resources for you way before Thursday. So you've got them there and you can dip into them. We'll download this. I'll download this presentation in a bit and make it into a YouTube, so that's on there as well. And I'll speak to Heather about Mahara. Just make sure you guys can all access things. But I think that who was it? Who was my little minion that did it? I think Katie's managed to find the back route. But if not, I will still speak to Heather and just make sure it's all clear for you guys. Yes, Rachel. So again, I'll make sure it's released for you next by the end of this week. As Caroline said, I've been working on it, trying just to shuffle things around. But basically, Monday and Wednesday is exactly the same. As I said in my previous email, the only difference is that you're working from home. So that will be interesting. So that will be exactly the same. So groups 1 and 2 are still your timetable is the same. Groups 3 and 4, your timetable is still the same. The only difference is that you obviously are online, so it'll all be on Teams. The only day that's going to change is Thursday. So you don't need to worry. Monday, Tuesday, that's exactly the same. And as always, the lectures are recorded, so that's fine. And as I say, Thursday is the day that's going to change. As Caroline mentioned, the plan is to basically postpone practicals, and what we're going to try and do, which, as I say, as with the meeting, might mean it's a little bit more intense for a few weeks, but hopefully it'll actually make it a bit easier, is you might have doubles up of things. So you get the joy of me, lucky things. So it might be that you have double lectures of things. So for example, you might have me teaching you a bit of AHID, for example, or bits and bobs. So we're just kind of looking at seeing who's free, teaching wise, and making up the theory really, in a sense that we'll still go through things at the pace. Don't feel that it's being rushed, that it's being squished. It's just so that we can optimize the time when all this nonsense is finished. But I will make sure you've got that by tomorrow, because obviously, like you, I like to have some idea a few days before. And hopefully Bojo won't do anything that's going to change anything now. At least as shitty as it is, hopefully this is the status quo for a little while. Which, like it or hate it, is at least some kind of consistency. So Natalia, I saw your message before. I'm not on campus, but if you bear with me, we can certainly arrange something. But yeah, I am working from home, so because as like you, I'm not allowed on campus. Cool. I'll let you guys disappear. I have got to dash to a meeting now, so I will email you, Natalia, in about 5 minutes to see if we can do another Teams chat. As I say, I'm not on site, so it will have to be virtual, I'm afraid. Okay, I'll see you all guys soon in a bit. I'm stopping the recording. Make sure you look after yourselves. As always,